Hot mic. Hello, what's going on? And it is Sean Wright, Emily Royalty, and Brad Feller, Century 21 Wright Realty. And we're going to do a little home buyers Q&A, home sellers Q&A. If you want to ask us any questions at all, Brad will even answer romantic questions. So
why not?
Why not? But
we're here. We're full service.
In more than one way. So we're here to answer any questions you got. Send them to us. We got a couple already in the pipeline, so we'll give about let's say 2 minutes to get people on here, and then we'll jump into the ones we already got. And as you can see, it's not our normal BS show logo. We got a home buying and selling Q&A up here. So, all right, if you want to make a comment or ask a question, please go to the Century 21 Wright Realty Facebook page. Don't bother with any of the 15 Facebook pages it's on, or Twitter, or Periscope, or Twitch, or Mixer, or YouTube. We're not there answering the questions. Come to the Century 21 Wright Realty Facebook page. All right. Hey, Lauren Head, how are you? So, I had a question about new construction. I had a question about financing. I had a question about timetables that I already got in the fold.
Like 9 times 9. That's always good.
That's a times table, yeah. You know there's a secret about using your knuckles or something?
For the months.
Yeah.
That works for the months.
No, there's something about like using this hand and coming up with, I don't know. That's that new math.
I like the memory version of, or figuring out how to work it out. Can you do math in your head?
A little bit, but not well. I usually use my fingers to count on.
Oh, yeah. Whatever works.
Basic math.
If my kids are on this webinar or this thing, or my wife's a teacher. She knows the little finger thing. I don't know.
Finger trick?
Yeah, the finger trick. I don't know. Maybe you throw gang signs. I don't.
Yeah. You go doing that and shoot at you.
Yeah, somebody walked through the front window.
But did I get the answer right?
Yeah. All right, Brad, did you have any questions you want to hit before I go into the ones I already have?
No, what do you have?
All right,
so the screen.
Talking about the process of buying a house, I was asked, from the minute I look at a house that I really, really like till the minute of closing, how fast can we do this thing? And so the answer to that is, usually, depending on your credit, worst case scenario, 30, 45 days. You can get it done as fast as 10 to 14 with some lenders. 21 days, pretty average. But it's all about how good the credit is, the type of loan you're getting, things like that. So it can vary, but usually no longer than 45 days.
Yeah, once you get around that point, you get a little weird, or
lots of things go a little weird. Usually when you're ready to make that offer, your realtor and your lender will get together. They'll get your game plan for your personal situation. That way you write it up where everybody knows what's going on. The lender I use, I know for a fact if he tells me, hey, we're going to close on this day, ain't no guessing. It's closing on that day or earlier. So,
and that's something people on the referral thing, when we refer a lender or anybody to you, it's not that we get anything in return. It's that's people we've worked with.
We vetted these people.
Right. And sometimes you learn the hard way who to work with and who not to work with. So
you got one of those, don't you?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. Times 2.
Times 2.
Yeah. But
Brad has an island and he just kicks boats off the island.
Back. Yeah.
Some people don't even get a boat. Brad just pushes them in the water.
Yep.
Hey, you see that pier over there?
Brad,
Keep walking.
yeah.
Walk. Stop.
But yeah. So if we refer somebody,
hey, Laura, what is the trick with the 9 thing with your hands? Now that you're watching, you can tell us what the hand thing is. I don't know.
Maybe she'll see it.
Maybe she'll see it. I don't know. Something about multiplications of 9 and doing things with your fingers.
Here, I know a cool trick with my hands. Look at that. See?
Look, I don't have a thumb.
Look, yeah. Look at that. Look.
I don't know. Maybe she's got like a YouTube clip. She'll post it on there. All right. New construction wise. New constructions are great. I will say a new construction is a little more stressful than buying a pre-built home, the pre-existing home, because there's a lot of time involved. And in a real estate transaction, There's a lot of ups and downs. There's a lot of things going like this. Our job as realtors is to keep those ups and downs as narrow as possible.
Right.
But in a new construction situation, we're talking about a long span. And we're talking about some things that can really come up and really come down and things like that. Weather,
there's all kind of factors.
There's more factors than just a loan, a builder, a realtor, and things like that. There's some factors that you can't control. And so those things can really be stressful. Like you said, weather. If it's a bunch of rain, a bunch of snow, a bunch of wind, you can't have people out there doing excavating or doing stuff outside the house while there's a bunch of weather. And you can't really do stuff inside the house. Look, she posted a YouTube video. And
Nice.
you can't do a lot of stuff inside the house until it's dried in and the mechanicals are there too. So if there's a lot of weather, a builder can literally just hit a wall and can't get anything done.
Right, literally. Yeah. And another thing, working with buyers doing a new build, they tend to go to the house and walk through, when it's still in the early phases. Even in the last, I call it round and third, going home. But even in that last phase, you see the house at its worst.
Yes.
Monster cans, McDonald's bags,
All the
wood
trash
pieces.
everywhere.
Yeah, you see it at its worst. And I have learned to tell them, look, if you're going to go by there, it's going to be ugly. But right at the last couple of days, it just all of a sudden it's like Cinderella running around with her.
Well, I'll say this: a lot of good builders keep a good job site.
True. That's true.
And you can tell a lot by a
Not
builder
all.
about the job site they keep.
True.
I mean, if I know builders that I've worked with in the past, builders that I try to work with going forward, they keep a good job site. You don't see a bunch of monster cans and McDonald's bags and things like that because their foreman is on those people to say, when you're done with my job site, you're a reflection of me. You clean up every day.
Right.
So,
all right, here we have a good question here. Marcus Gardner, if you're trying to veer from depreciation, what would be a good time frame to sell after buying, disregarding economy changes? Because we can't really predict that. So what's a good time frame?
Your average appreciation rate, and if you go back any 5-year period appreciation rate, now I'm not talking about the last 3 years where we appreciate almost 22%, but normally the appreciation in our area is about 3 to 4%. So if you got to take that most people in the Middle Tennessee area are using government loans that are low to no down payments. So just to get appreciated enough to where you've got some value and you got to add commissions back in when you sell it. You got to add your closing costs back in when you sell it. If you got a THDA loan, you may have some recapture you got to add back in when you sell it. Usually when you buy a house in a normal economy, a normal market, you're in it for 4.5 to 5 years. And that's actually why the average person nationwide moves every 4.5 years.
Yeah.
Because it takes 4.5 years for you to get to the point just where you can get out from under it.
Yeah, but it is.
That's a great question.
It is, yeah.
Good job, Marcus.
Yes.
Yeah, great question.
What
So
else we got?
that takes a lot. All right, home selling. You get a lot of people that say, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fix my house up and I'm going to get it sold. I'm going to put granite countertops in. I'm going to put slate floors in. I'm going to buy stainless appliances. I'm going to do X, Y, Z.
Gold plate the windows.
Gold plate the windows. I mean, the whole kit and caboodle. When you're looking at spending money to get your house ready to sell, you need to consult a trusted realtor first. Because you may think you're adding a ton of value to your house, where in actuality, you're just spending money and it really wouldn't have affected that house at all. So let's say, for instance, you got a house that you've got 2,000 foot. The market in your neighborhood, when an appraiser looks at a house, they're looking at the house what an average house looks like in that neighborhood. So and I don't see this a lot anymore, but let's say you got a house that all the houses in the neighborhood have gravel driveways.
Right.
Every one of them. And you go, okay, I'm going to spend $10,000. I'm going to put a concrete driveway in my yard. Hey, I like concrete driveways. But you're not going to get a dollar for dollar back on that $10,000. So let's say you spend $10,000 on a driveway and it really only gives you $2,500, $3,000 worth of value back. Well, you've actually took an $8,000 net loss.
Yeah.
So And same thing with granite countertops. Let's say you live in a neighborhood where none of the houses in the whole neighborhood have granite countertops. Then you go in and go, okay, I'm going to spend $2,500. I'm going to put granite countertops in on this house. It didn't add any value to your house at all. Mm-mm. That was a cosmetic thing you did to fix the house up for yourself.
Yeah, that's where a lot of people go wrong. They think that cosmetic really raises the value, or spending money. The more you spend,
right?
Like you say, it's not dollar for dollar on the return.
Yeah,
it really isn't. So there's nothing worse than having that conversation and they show you everything we just did to get the house sale ready before we called you, and you're thinking, oh man, a lot of this is, could have just stayed in your pocket.
And when you're fixing a house up like that, you're fixing it up for your taste.
Right.
Everyone
especially the paint.
Yeah. You're not fixing that house up for somebody else. You're fixing it up for you. Mm-hmm. So you're picking your color countertops out. You just painted your wood cabinets. But what happens if the people that you're looking at your house really wanted the wood cabinets and you've done painted them blue? Mm-hmm. And I've got a really good example of this on a house that I sold on Hogan Drive 2 years ago. The person who referred me the client said, hey, she's wanting to do all this work. Can you go out and look at this house? And I went out there and before at the listing appointment, I said, stop doing everything you're doing. Do not spend another dime. And we had a discussion on values, and she thought the house was valued here. I actually told her the house is worth $30,000 more than what she thought it was without doing anything. Mm-hmm. I sold it for $45,000 over what she thought it was worth. She didn't have to do anything, literally stopped. If a house has good curb appeal, if it smells good, you can't see anything just abnormally wrong with the house, it will sell if it's priced right.
Yeah.
Yes.
You've got, again, we're an area that is mostly government loan properties. Mm-hmm. They've got to appraise.
Right.
When you sit here and you do all these additions that you did for yourself, and then you price your house way over here because you did this work for your house that's over and above what the area needs, it's not going to appraise.
Right.
All right.
Appraisal is key.
Appraisal is key.
Yes.
All right. What else we got?
That's nothing for right now.
We got about 14 more minutes to go, and then we're going to cut it. Another question that I was sent was about home inspections. Home inspectors, Jason Peterson, you're my guy, and Jason does a great job of really consulting the client and going through it and going, look, this is a problem, but it's not life and death. I just have to tell you what's wrong with the house. This has probably been like this since the house is brand new. And so he really breaks down what's in a report. Because I'll tell you what, you get a home inspection report, and
stick.
I got one right here.
Yeah. A small book.
It's a small book, and it can be overwhelming as a home buyer. You're going, man, I really, really liked this house when I put the offer in on it. I really liked it, and now I'm just, this thing's crap. And you're going, well, look, let's really break it down line by line. Especially a pre-existing house, if the systems are good, and by systems I mean electrical, plumbing, roof, HVAC, if that's all good, if the structure of the house is good, the bones of the house are good, and the safety of the house is good. And by safety, I mean, let's say you've got a junction box, which would fall under electrical. You got a junction box in the attic that's got open wire ties with no nuts or no electrical tape, no junction box header, and it's one of those things that if you put your hand down in it, you'll get an electrifying experience. That's a safety issue. Smoke detectors, although that seems so minute, a smoke detector not working is a safety issue.
Oh yeah.
So you want your safety issues to work. Here's one that I do specifically if I had to see a home inspection report and it's got bad non-working light fixtures. 95% of the time, it's just a bad light bulb. 95% of the time. But I know when I do a home inspection request for a buyer to send over to a seller, I want all those light fixtures working when we close. Because what happens in that 5% that it's not just a light bulb and it needs a light fixture replaced.
Yeah.
So even though it sounds so minute that I'm asking somebody to replace a light bulb, I want to make sure that light fixture works, and that falls under electrical.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at a home inspection report, there's going to be a lot of stuff that's just monotonous that doesn't need done.
Yep.
Look at the stuff that really does matter.
Yes,
because
the
important stuff. If that stuff's all good, don't get scared of all this other stuff that's really just page takers.
And that's the thing. Normally, they give an overview, step by step, and then a summary.
Right.
So that's one reason it's so thick. But that's something I always
and 3
tell.
pages of legal
exactly.
mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. But that's one thing, setting expectations early. If you always say going in, it may look horrible, but we'll go over it. And a lot of times it's just 1 or 2 or 3 little things that need to be fixed. Or
Yeah.
they need attention.
And those things are usually stuff the seller's already aware of.
Right.
Or if they're not aware of, once you bring it to their attention, they're going, yeah, that needs to be done.
Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell about home inspections. All right. My phone is ringing off the hook. All right, so what else? We've got sellers wanting to...
Well, I was going to have a question about closing costs.
Closing costs, all right.
What goes into the closing costs?
All right. So a buyer has costs that they have to do to sell a home.
Okay.
Or to buy a home. Title is the actual title search of the house. Title search, the title insurance, the buyer's policy. There's 2 parts to title insurance. There's the title insurance part, which guarantees the mortgage company's interest in the property. And then there's a buyer's policy, which guarantees the buyer's interest in the equity in the house. So let's say you put 20 or 5% down. That buyer's policy covers your equity as it grows. Title insurance is not like any other insurance you buy. You buy it once at closing, you're done forever. You don't have to buy it again. It guarantees your equity, and it guarantees the mortgage company's rights to your property that your title is good. That's the first fee. In a lot of counties in Tennessee, that's a fixed cost. It's based off the price range of the house, and in some counties, there's no cost. It could just cost crazy amounts. All right, that's the first thing. Your mortgage company is going to have closing costs. They could be doc fees. They could be origination points, discount points, mortgage costs. Those are closing costs that the mortgage company bestows. Then you have prepaids. Prepaids are what sets up your escrow account. It's your insurance, it's your taxes, and those are paid on a monthly basis. And what they do is they ask for 14 months reserves up front, so that way as you pay your house payment, your escrow account is paid through your house payment, and it replenishes itself as it uses it. So as you pay your payments, that takes care of itself. Now at the end of the year, when tax bills come out or insurance bills come out, guess what? Always goes up. Taxes. So at the end of the year, if your taxes have went up, they're going to send you a nice little bill that says, your escrow account is short. Please send us a check for whatever.
Give us money.
Give us money. Now, let's say you've went all year long and your insurance went down at the end of the year. If you're one of these people that shops your insurance every single year, this could happen. They may send you a thing saying, oh, your escrow account has an overage. Here's $50.
Yeah.
It's like getting chance on the Monopoly board. So...
That 1 in a million.
Yeah, 1 in a million. I've been lucky. I haven't had one that was short yet. Now I'm going to have one next year. Thank you to the Murfreesboro City government. But I haven't had one yet. All right, so I'm going to talk about listing your house and how to come up with a number, because it's another one I just had when my phone was going nuts. You're listing your house and you're going, well, Susie, 2 streets over, she sold her house for this amount. And your realtor, when they come over to talk about value and look over your house, and when a realtor looks at comps, they don't just look at number, or they shouldn't look at just number. They should be going, okay, this is 123 Main Street. 123 Main Street has been updated. 123 Main Street has not been updated. 123 Main Street needs a bunch of work. It's good condition, whatever. And when they look at your house compared to 123 Main Street, they should be comparing not only the number of the house, the square footage, the bedrooms, things like that, but they also should be comparing actual condition. That way they can come up with what's a realistic price per condition.
Right.
So
that's where a lot of realtors get it wrong too.
Right. And that's why you see a lot of houses that sit on the market for so long is because the price isn't right. Now, it's not always like that. Sometimes the price, let's say you're in a neighborhood that's got a bunch of new construction, or you're in a neighborhood that's adjacent to a bunch of new construction. New construction houses, the average buyer will pay just a tad bit more, 8 to 12% more, to buy a house that's new construction compared to a used house. So that's something to think about. But most of the time, they get bad information. Little Susie came over and said, I just sold my house for $300,000. Well, then you go pull the card, you pull the actual thing, and they sold their house for $260,000.
Yeah. Listing it and selling it is two different things.
Right.
There's one in my neighborhood that's like that. This guy, he was just convinced that it sold for, I think it was about $40,000 more than it actually did sell for. But it was listed. They were very ambitious, but it sold for the price. And much lower.
You can't believe everything you're told.
Right.
If that realtor shows you that hard number, that's a fact.
Yeah.
No change.
Yeah.
So don't listen to the hype that's going around your neighborhood. That realtor will show you actual facts on that number and tell you, hey, this house, it's what it really closed for. And by the way, that house has been updated. Yours needs carpet and paint, so yours is worth a little bit less. Or yours has been updated and that one needed some work, so yours is worth a little bit more. So an appraiser will give you a little bit of leeway. They're not going to give you thousands upon dollars, but they're going to give you a little leeway. All right. We probably have time for one or two more questions. Brad, if you want to check your phone, see if you got one or two more, and then we'll cut it. We'll have a great weekend. And Brad is going to be at 715 Orange Blossom tomorrow from 2 to 4. Great new construction. Just had a price drop. We're down to $479,999. I'll be there Sunday 2 to 4. It's a great opportunity to buy a nice new construction on the north side of town near the VA. Great opportunity.
All right. So why is it not a good idea to go way high on the list price, hoping to get that one person that will submit an offer on it and then come down?
That's a great question. The average home buyer looks at houses in $5,000 increments.
Okay.
Because that's where let's say that average home buyer is approved for $200,000. Let's say your house is a $200,000 house. You price it at $215,000. Well, that average home buyer that's going to look at your house, they search on the top of their range. So if they're approved to $200,000, they look up to $200,000. You're at $215,000. That home buyer is not even seeing that property.
Right.
As busy and as strong as our market has been the past 3 years, the average person is expecting to pay more than ask price for a house, not less than asking price. You can actually deter people from even making an offer by having your house overpriced because they're scared there's going to be 8 other offers right behind it that are pushing that number up. Now, that's not like that in every single price range, but a lot of price ranges. Anything under $300,000 needs to be priced correctly because the chances are it's going up, not down. You actually could be taking money out of your own pocket where if you actually priced it correctly up front, you may have gotten at asking or more, where if you price it too high and then your listing gets stale, then you keep having to drop. It makes
all the serious buyers have already moved on.
Correct.
Yep.
All right, we got time for one more.
One more. What you got?
Oh gosh. I don't have anything.
It's all right.
So we have performance dates. Like once you go under contract, you have so long to order your mortgage. So long to get the inspection.
So black and white of the contract, it's already there written without a realtor and attorney writing anything into it. But from the time you have a bound contract, you have to apply for your mortgage within 3 days. Now there's a difference in getting pre-approved before you go looking at houses and applying for a mortgage. You can't actually physically apply for your mortgage even though you're pre-approved until you have a contract. So you have an actual two-party agreed contract. So you're pre-approved. You may have even been ran through underwriting. You have a commitment letter. You get the contract. We send the contract over to the lender. The lender gets the contract, puts what used to be called a good faith estimate together, and you sign a lock agreement. You sign your application for mortgage, all within 3 business days or 3 calendar days after you get a bound contract. In the same token, in black and white, it says that the appraisal has to be ordered within 14 days of bound contract. So there's a lot of people that I know that, like, all right, they want to get their home inspection done and they want to get the appraisal ordered. Well, if you put you're doing 14 days for the home inspection, the contract already says you got to order that appraisal in 14 days also. Mm-hmm. So if you want to get the home inspection taken care of beforehand, that means the home inspection contingency window needs to be smaller. That way that appraisal can still be ordered on the 14th day to be within contract specifications.
There you go. Sounds good. And home inspection on new build? Good, yes or no?
Usually you do it once upon completion.
Yeah, but it's a good idea to get one.
I would get a home inspection done on any house, whether it's brand spanking new or 75 years old. Mm-hmm. So we're all three realtors with Century 21 Wright Realty. We're glad to come at you with this home buyers seminar, home selling seminar. If you have any other questions, be sure just to send us a message on Facebook. We'll be glad to answer it. We'd love to have your business, learn to have your friends and family's business as well. So even if you're not in the hunt, send us your friend and family. We'll be glad to take care of them. We're always honored to handle your referrals, and we are the right realtors for you. Emily, Brad, thank you very much for being here. If you want to say anything, go ahead.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Let's talk soon.
Let's talk soon. We're out.